Well, now it's time to check your money. We've got America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corp., member SIPC. Inspiration for the nation with Vicki Brackens. Hey, Vicki.
Hey, George.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, George.
Can't believe this is episode number 52. We've been together for a year.
Exactly a
Wow.
year. Okay, so time flies when you're having fun.
When you're making money.
And you're making money. Okay.
Or trying to, or supposed to. If you're
No. When you're making, don't qualify it. When you're making money. All right.
Making moves and everything.
All right, then. So listen, before I forget, I need to thank everyone.
Yes.
As far as our listening audience, because we have had a great 52-week run.
Yes.
And I really appreciate all of the comments and the people that I see on the street and the things that we've heard concerning, and on LinkedIn that we've heard, and Facebook that we've heard about what's going on with this segment. And I want to thank them and tell them it's been tremendous, over the last 52 weeks. And we'll have to see what happens the next 52 weeks when we get into 2019. But today, as I always said from the beginning, everything is connected.
Yes.
How our lives thrive, prosper, and interact is all connected. So here's some things about our connections that I want to express today. First of all, our condolences to our members of the Jewish community for the horrific events that happened in Pittsburgh last week.
Yeah.
The shootings there at the Tree of Life Synagogue were, I don't know how to describe it, but what I will say is this. When something happens in our community, no matter what community it is, it connects all communities, and we are passing or extending our condolences to everyone there and hope that as time goes on, a healing process will begin.
We hope so. And it's all of our concern, right?
It is.
What's
absolutely.
that saying? And then they came for me, so we need to stand up and be bystanders and do...
Stop being bystanders.
Stop being bystanders, right?
And do something.
Be empowered bystanders. There you go.
So also, I want to remind everyone that your prosperity and your ability to grow your net worth is connected intrinsically to the economic and political policies that you live under. If you remember from our pyramid or from our triangle, we went from poor to broke, to stable to prosperous, to rich to wealthy. The issues of political policy and economic prosperity overlap. It's like three concentric circles, and they overlap in the area of what we call financial well-being. Knowing this, George, I have one message for everyone. Everyone listen to me carefully.
We listening.
Get up, go vote.
Period.
Get up and go vote on Tuesday.
And take somebody with you.
Take somebody with you, but get up and go vote on Tuesday, November 6th. It's worth taking the time off from work. You need to get up and go vote. Often I hear the questions also like this, which is what we're going to really... Would you want to say something before I
just
went
want to
forward?
say in terms of go vote, that's the theme of our show today. It's vote. We are telling people to go vote. NAACP is telling people, just a reminder, souls to the polls. Uber and Lyft, so they're going to give people a ride. There's no excuse. My daughter filled out her absentee ballot.
Okay.
And it's in the mail. It has to be postmarked by tomorrow if it's going to count for Election Day.
Exactly. My mother, my 91-year-old mother, shout out to Ellen Brackens, filled out her absentee ballot to make sure that it was there in time.
That's right.
Because this year, every year is important. I love what Oprah said the other day.
Yeah.
About the fact that the blood that's in your veins came from the sacrifice of individuals around voting. You need to get up and go vote.
Can I just say something, Vicki, real quick? When I voted every year since I was 18, and it is because of that, because of the people who were beaten, who were lynched, whose blood runs through my veins. I cannot afford not to honor their legacy by sitting my black behind home. I have to vote.
You have to vote.
I didn't mean to get all into that like that, but that's how I feel about that.
But I was talking about earlier that there's three concentric circles.
Yeah.
The political policies impact the economic prosperity of everyone.
Right.
And that leads to your own personal well-being as far as your financial well-being. on that vein, I'm going to move forward here.
Yes.
Because we got a great question this week.
We did.
We got several, but this is the one that I want to concentrate on. And the question is this: what's the best way to save?
Mm-hmm.
How do I start investing? And are banks safe or a safe way to save?
Yes.
And if you look at literature and you listen to conversations a lot about savings versus investing, one of the things that happens that is problematic, it is that we use these words too interchangeably.
Interchangeably, yeah.
They are absolutely not the same thing. I want everyone to hear me. These are not the same types of concepts, because one is involved with risk, where the other one is involved with taking an asset and preserving it.
Mm-hmm.
Saving and investing are things that we should do, possibly simultaneously, but they do not have the same purpose, nor do they necessarily have the same outcome. So let's talk about investing a little bit.
Sure.
And I want everyone, what's my favorite website?
Investopedia.com.
Investopedia.com. Right? So I encourage everyone to go back to Investopedia.com and look for something called the Investopedia Anxiety Index, IAI. Why is this important? When we're speaking about investing in particular, investing is an emotionally driven process.
Mm-hmm.
Behavior actually drives a lot of the results in the investment market. When you are investing, you are basically saying, George, I have a resource which I have earned. Here's how all these things are connected. I earned this through the use of my human capital.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that concept we had several months ago?
Yes.
Through the use of my human capital, my skills and my abilities created a revenue. That revenue was driven by a certain amount of time that I expended into creating either that skill or that knowledge that is being placed into the marketplace. So, because of that, anytime money leaves your hands, you feel an emotional impact. When you are making a decision to invest in something, then you are saying, I am transferring my human capital and giving over a level of trust to this particular entity, whether it be a corporation or an individual, to take my human capital and leverage it toward the future without any guarantees of what the outcome is going to be. That is really what you're saying.
Right.
Okay. So when we look at investing, we need to measure risk appropriately to what we feel is a level of risk, a level of trust that we can extend to someone else, whether it's a person or a corporation.
That seems like 50,000 feet to me.
50,000 feet. What do you want else? Okay, well, how you would bring it down to 10,000 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
Just so how do I get started?
How do you get started? You say this. I have 10,000. I'm using this number.
That's fine. Yeah.
I have $10,000 in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I cannot grow it under the current savings model, which is to get interest at 0.1 or 2. Actually, right now at 2% at a over a time period in order to say double, triple, or quadruple that money.
Mm-hmm.
So I am willing to go out and look at a company or an individual who has a potential for leveraging, for growing that money at a faster rate. First thing to do, research.
Right.
Research the individuals or the companies. I'm just going to say company at this point in time. We forget venture capital. We're going to say company's background. What is the product line that they have?
Mm-hmm.
You are taking your dollars and saying, I want to become a part owner.
And when you're looking at that $10,000, that means that I've done all of the other things to make sure that I can risk that $10,000.
Okay, so I'm emphasizing over and over and over. There is risk involved in investing.
Right.
There is reward, but you have to be in a position to take on that risk.
So whatever that number is for you,
that's correct.
Can you afford to
lose it?
That's what we want to make it. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's keep it real.
Okay. Can you afford to lose it? I'll say that exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice and plain. Can you afford to lose it?
Right.
If you cannot afford to lose it or not have access to it, then you may not be ready for investing.
Right.
How do you make yourself or put yourself in a position of being able to afford to lose it? Key. Save.
Save. There you go. How did you just connect those dots?
Okay.
That's why you Vicki Brackens the money maven. Right? Because if you save, you
Then
have
you
money
have
to invest.
Okay,
Holla
so
at your boy.
save is to take that resource we talked about earlier, that human capital, and place it in a position
Right.
of safety
Right.
so that you have an important concept which is called liquidity.
Yes.
We talked about that before.
Yeah.
Having ready cash to do the things and sustain yourself through times of trouble. So as long as you have money saved, you can take a portion to invest because you have a safety net. You are now liquid. Now, the question comes up, is it safe to save in banks? I haven't heard that in a long, long time. The reason I say a long, long time is that for individuals who are, say, of the, what's it called, the greatest generation, when we had the banking crash,
Right.
and banks folded, when they folded, there was no FDIC insurance. There was no backing around them. So banks, traditional banks, are safe because of the federal backing under FDIC or credit unions, which have the similar.
I would say another question is online banking.
Okay.
That's to me really that's not the only question, but that's what you're seeing a lot of now.
All right.
And how safe is that?
All right. So online banking, first thing, read the details.
Yeah.
If you read the details, it's really a process of getting your money to a brick and mortar institution that has FDIC insurance around it. So look for either SIPC, which is for securities companies, or FDIC backed. In those cases, you have the same protection as you would if you walk down to the local bank, almost used the name, the local bank, okay, and put the money, or credit union, and put the money in there.
And they have their own.
They have their own types of protection
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
All right, okay, for federal. And if you want to understand, because different types of accounts have different levels of protection
Yeah.
and different registrations. We talked about this before. Is it a joint account? Is it a joint with tenants and survivors? Remember when we went through how to register assets for probate purposes?
Right.
Different types of registrations have different levels of protection. You can look that up online through the FDIC or go to usgovernment.org as far as the banking areas are concerned to get more information there. So going back to the Investopedia Anxiety Index.
Yes.
This anxiety index actually measures three things: the macroeconomic stresses, the market stresses, and the debt and credit stress, okay, as reported by readers. Not that readers are calling in and saying, I am stressed about the market, but what they're measuring is the level of traffic that they are getting as far as asking for through searches on Investopedia. How many people are searching things like negative market returns? How many people are researching things like debt and credit? And they combine this to create what's called the anxiety index. If that index goes above 100, well, the norm is 100. So as long as it's staying somewhere in the 100 to 102,002 range, or 101.5, then we're in a normal environment. If it drops below 100, then we're in a very positive environment. If it drops into the 104 level or above, we're in a very, very, very negative level. Okay? Right now, the index is at 101.22. Right on the edge, okay, before we start getting worrisome, okay? Why do I care about these indexes? We need measuring tools as far as how people can gauge the level of stress within the marketplace against their own stress.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
We got a wrap.
Okay.
We're getting a full plate.
Yes. Oh, yes, we are. I'm sorry. You said Vicki could talk today. So you know I'm going to do it.
I need to know when you, lastly, and quick, the best ways to save.
Best ways to save?
Like automatic?
Systematic.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it's like have it
for
deducted.
For most people, systematic savings, even the direct deposit out of your paycheck, would be probably the best way, because once we develop a habit, and that is the way to develop habits, you don't feel it anymore after the first, second, third paycheck. So I'd say systematic savings out of your paycheck into either your bank account or your credit union account, but make sure it's not your account that you pay your bills from. You want a dedicated account around savings. If it's your operational account, the chances of you actually saving go down dramatically.
Yeah.
Because you spend it. Okay. Second thing, as far as getting started for your investing, your 401k plans are a great way to start. Again, it's systematic, but you can also work with your local financial planner or your investment advisor to set up systematic investment programs at a much lower level than most people think. All right, George, so at the end of this 52 weeks,
yes,
I encourage everyone to go to BrackensFSN.com. Again, BrackensFSN.com. If you have any additional questions, and I will say for this year, our plate is full.
Well, thank you very much. Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corp., member SIPC.